Oh, this show, Elimination Chamber. What do I have to say about this, huh? This was a bad show. A show with barely no build, to be honest. With only the build of, 2 Elimination Chambers, which I don't think they had a lot about for this, and one that was really predictable. And then there's matches that you have announced at the last minute, from either Monday, Friday, or even today. These matches were announced at the last minute. Because honestly, it may not even be a lot to talk about tonight looking at this show. But this is what happens when you book a Saudi Arabia show and then you have, 2 weeks to build? Now, I could sit here and, dog crap all over this show or whatnot. But there are some bright spots through this. Not a lot, but there are a couple of bright spots leading into this whole Elimination Chamber show. Because one thing I've known about WWE in the past is this with some of these shows. You don't have to build up good, but somehow, some way, they always come out with some really good pay-per-view without barely any build. How they do it, I have no clue. But let me say one thing first before I get on with this review. Philly! Whew. Want to talk about dead crowd tonight. Dead. Super dead. Maybe popped off a couple things here and there. We'll get to where the reasons why they kind of reacted. But Philly, dead, I tells you. Man, this, and then again, can you blame them? I don't know. But a majority of this crowd looked like they kind of sat on their hands throughout most of the night, either waiting on some stuff or maybe was waiting for this show to get over. I don't know, but they just had a couple things here and there. But let's begin this review off. Hey, now I did not watch the pre-show. I don't need to watch the pre-show because nothing really ever happens on the pre-show. And then when I'm hearing it's the Viking Raiders and Hawkins and Ryder, yeah, I don't think I need to watch the pre-show. So I think we get through that very easily. But first, the first official match of the night, we kick it off with Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. Arguably maybe the best match of the entire night, to be honest. Now, this match, like I said, didn't really have a lot of build, because the whole story is what Gulak is trying to manage people right now to get someone to beat Daniel Bryan to expose his weaknesses. Bryan called him out on SmackDown last Friday, and now we have a match tonight with these two. I have not really seen Drew Gulak wrestle in a very long time. Honestly, the last time I actually saw him wrestle a match was, I believe, on NXT when he lost the Cruiserweight title to Lio Rush. Now, I didn't watch his whole Cruiserweight title run on 205 Live, but he was more of a shooter type of thing. I remember him coming out with a robe and whatnot. Very submission-based. And this match right here was very submission-based. Very technical, very submission style, very mat-based style of wrestling we got from Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak here. I believe Gulak is from Philly, so he got a bit of a decent pop out there too. But, of course, this was a pro Daniel Bryan. One thing I can say about this match, this was a very good match. Really, really good match, to be honest. Now, I know it took a bit of the crowd to take some time to get into this and maybe react towards the end. Of course, they're over with Daniel Bryan, but you saw a lot of pockets of silence throughout this match, though. But you got a very, very good match from both Bryan and Gulak out here tonight. This was, like I said, this is one of the bright spots throughout this show. And what way to kick it off is to kick it off with this bright spot, I should say. Like I said, both guys pretty much grappling back and forth. One of the big spots you could take from this match was them going to the outside of the ring. If you know that suplex where you pick up somebody and both guys pretty much fall out of the ring, then, I never know the name of that whole, whatever that suplex they do. I never know the name of it, but it's just when one picks up the other and they both fall out to the outside of the ring. That's always good to watch, okay? But like I said, a lot of back and forth strikes, a lot of them dodging submission holds from the surfboard. Bryan going for it from Gulak trying to get the better of him, dodging his submission holds, pretty much the outside of the ring, to get back into the ring then. Excuse me. Pretty much getting back inside the ring. Bryan pretty much trying to get him for a 2 count. Gulak taking him down with a suplex, Saito suplex, on the back of his head and neck. That looked pretty bad. There's one that the ref had to stop it because, Bryan's neck injuries and whatnot. But Bryan tried to roll him up, even though they dragged the suplex for a 2 count. Then Gulak pretty much came back then with a big German, holding it for the count, only getting 2. But then he hit a big German suplex. Probably the biggest highlight out of this match was Gulak throwing Bryan almost 10 feet in the air, where Bryan nearly landed on his head and neck very badly. How he sold that, I don't know, but that looked very brutal to watch, especially if they show it in replay several times and in slow motion. Gulak, like I said, he threw Bryan almost 5-10 feet in the air, looked like, and him falling on the back of his head and neck. That did look brutal, though. Bryan was out the ring then, but he got back in for the 10 before the 10 count. Bryan came back in with some elbows, even get him into the corner. Of course, with his kicks then, putting him onto the top rope, but Gulak was able to get out, hitting him with a big reverse suplex from the top rope then, pretty much still holding him, putting him into a dragon sleeper then, pretty much trying to get Bryan to tap out. He did let go of it just to hit him with some strikes to the head with some elbows, and then putting the dragon sleeper back in. But Bryan was able to get out of it, putting him into the yes lock, then a very modified yes lock, I should say, because his arm, what can I say, he got him caught in his arm, right? And it's like, he's got his neck twisted, but here's the thing, Gulak's arm is caught, so he can't really tap out. So it's almost like a modified, inverted yes lock and everything, which Bryan was able to use his elbow and his other elbow and pretty much start striking Gulak in the head while still putting the yes lock in, which he did give up, which we never saw him tap. Let me say that too. But the ref did stop the match then. I think he did give up, though. I don't know if it was ref stoppage, but Bryan did pretty much put him in the submission to make him give up in this match, okay? And Bryan ended up winning. I even up give a little bit of salute to Gulak. But this was very good. A very good style of match. Now, I know a lot of people may not be the biggest fan of the technical style of wrestling, but this was a very technical match we got from Bryan and Gulak. Very brutal, too, I should say, also. And this was good. Real good. Now, I wish we could see more of this from Gulak. Now, if you found a way to mix the PowerPoint thing and the stuff he just did here right now, you probably get something entertaining out of this. Or you go back to him in his shooter style thing he was doing in 205 Live and coming out with a big, like, robe hooded coat or something, like he's ready to go for a fight and stuff. But this was good. Him and Bryan had a very good match for about 15 minutes. Very enjoyable. And it somewhat did win the crowd over. Bryan's going to be over as usual anyways, but you did gain something out of this match, though. I will say that. Probably, like I said, arguably may have been the best match out of the night, possibly. But very enjoyable match. Good 15 minutes. Very good opener. So very enjoyable. Daniel Bryan goes over. Pretty much wins the match. Next match we got, though, following this, what do we get right after this, huh? Yes. Almas versus Humberto. Again, one thing I should say for this match, I know they had Caleb Braxton interview Rude Ziggler, but I do want to address one thing before I get into Almas and Humberto for God knows the 1 millionth time. One thing people have been noticing is this whole, glitch thing going on in the back on screens of the stuff we've been seeing in not commercials, but during the show of these blue lights. Now, I know a lot of people thought it may have been Killer Cross, but I think we all know who this is. Okay? It's Mustafa Ali. It's gotta be him. I know those blue lights from anywhere, so I think I figured it out at this point. It's gotta be him, because if you know Mustafa Ali's gear and he looks like Sub-Zero with that light thing on his chest, you know who it's gonna be. And when I noticed those colored lights and how they were in the circular motion, yeah, it's got to be Mustafa Ali coming back. So I just want to address that, okay? But Almas and Humberto, listen, how many times is this? How does he get all these title shots? Where does Humberto get all these title shots? I have literally no clue. Listen, this wasn't a bad match or anything, but how many times do we have to see Humberto lose? It's like with Garza. If it ain't Garza, it's Almas. Garza, Almas. It's the same thing most of the time. And the end result all the time is Humberto losing almost every time one-on-one. How does he get these title shots? I don't know, but it's not that they're bad matches or anything, but how many times is Humberto really going to have to lose right here? Come on. Humberto's great in the ring. I think he was really good. Don't get me wrong. Good match. that Hurricane Rana he did was really good. The thing at the end with the Dodgers, okay. Now, a lot of people say Humberto's got it out because Almas pretty much held on to the tights and, got the win. But how many title shots is this guy going to get? And how many L's is he going to take to both Almas and Garza, huh? It's like Humberto just loses. He loses. I don't even... This whole feud is nearly one-sided now that I think about it. It almost does feel, but he's got Ray with him, so I guess Ray's supposed to help get Humberto over. But listen, this was definitely a last-minute thing. I don't even know why this was even a match. I don't even know why this was even for the U.S. title. But almost got the win, okay? And the crowd did seem to care through a little about this match. But come on, man. We all know who's about to win this. So, yeah, Humberto, put up another L for him, okay? More L's than anybody right now. Just L after L after L, okay? But next thing we got is the Elimination Chamber match. The Tag Team Elimination Chamber match. I think we all know why the women were... main event in this show, and I'm going to say why in a few minutes when we get to it. But Miz and Morrison, Usos, New Day, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Rude and Ziggler for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We've kicked it off with both New Day and Usos starting out the match, of course. Of course, they do their thing and stuff, which wasn't that bad until the Lucha House Party got into the ring. Of course, hitting moonsaults on, both the Usos, taking them out, and pretty much... Big E was able to throw him to the outside of the ring then. There was one spot where Dorado pretty much jumped off the ropes into the cage then, catching the cage like a cat almost, climbing onto the pods, both him and Metalito climbing onto the top of it then right after. Pretty much then right after that, they pretty much dove on both the New Day and the Usos with a big crossbody and landing on them at the same time on both teams, taking them out. So at least the Lucha, like I said, I don't know why the Lucha House Party are even in this match, but we did see some good stuff from them. Pretty much right after Miz and Morrison came in, going for everybody right after. New Day ended up taking both of them out with a big double team move right after that. But pretty much the fifth team in there right after Miz and Morrison was Heavy Machinery. Pretty much squishing the Usos like sandwiches into the cage, going pretty much back and forth, squashing them like pancakes, of course, into the cage several times. One weird spot I will say is like Otis kept looking at Lince Dorado. I know where Lince Dorado's going up next, but it looked like he saw him climb up the cage. And I remember he got in the ring, then got back out the ring, then got in the ring. It's almost like Otis forgot a spot for some reason. I don't know why, but he looked a little bit lost right there until he got back in the ring. He knocked down Big E. He hit the Caterpillar. Heavy Machinery very over, by the way, in this match, especially Otis, due to this whole storyline going on. So Otis is probably just the most over team in there, especially what happened on SmackDown, and they were over last Friday and stuff. So, yeah. Otis pretty much hit the Caterpillar then right after. But then after he got the pin, for some reason, they all broke it up. I think Kofi broke it up because Big E. Everybody's in the middle. Lince Dorado ends up climbing to the middle of the cage. The middle, I tells you. And does a big shooting star off the middle, like midair in the cage, landed on everybody except for Heavy Machinery, who did not get hit. But that did look really good, though, when he did that shooting star. That was pretty crazy. But they ended up taking Grand Metalik and hitting him with the compactor, taking out the Lucha House Party then right after. Rude and Ziggler were next. Ziggler pretty much trying to dodge Otis then throughout the match as he climbed up the top of the pod. Tucker got up there with him, slamming Ziggler's face into the pod, then knocking him off. And next thing you know, Tucker does a big dive on everybody outside. Big senton, it looked like, landing on everyone off the top of the pod of the Elimination Chamber. Otis pretty much had Ziggler then ready to get him. And he looked like he was about to crash through the pod, but the Ziggler ended up sidestepping him. Otis goes through the pod. By the way, he goes through the glass. He doesn't just land in the pod. He goes through the pod all the way ringside with fans here chanting, "This is awesome," and holy shit. But that was crazy, though. I've never seen nobody crash through the pod. Even the announcers said this themselves. But they crashed through the pod all the way to the outside of the ring. Not just crash inside the pod, but go through two of them plexiglass things and goes all the way to the outside of the ring. Tucker told Otis to get up. You got to get up. But Tucker ended up getting a super kick and a glorious DDT, being eliminated by Rude and Ziggler. So Heavy Machinery was out. Tucker pretty much looked pissed, but he helped Otis to the back as Ziggler and Rude taunted them. Next thing you know, Trouble in Paradise, big ending onto both Ziggler and Rude. Usos hit the big splash on Rude and Ziggler from the top of the pods. From the top of the pods of the Elimination Chamber, eliminating them, and I'm going to get a little bit more of that story in a second, but they all start chanting a goodbye song to Rude and Ziggler. Next thing you know, we only got New Day, Usos, and Miz and Morrison left. New Day and Usos work together and start jumping Miz and Morrison, stepping on them several times. Next thing you know, Usos pretty much turn on them, well, they all turn on each other, hitting each other with kicks and everything. Kofi got one of Usos to the top of the pod, them and knocking him down. He looked like he was about to do a cross body, but he missed, landed on the ground. Miz and Morrison pretty much scurry in and rush in there, pinning Kofi in, double pinning him to take out the New Day. So next, the only thing we had left was the Usos and Miz and Morrison. Of course, both teams trying to get pins on each other. Miz getting the Skull Crush finale on Jimmy Uso, then putting a figure 4 on him, which he held him in there so Morrison can do the Starship Pain, which, by the way, it like he didn't even hit him with the Starship Pain. Jey Uso broke up the count, hitting him with super kickstand right after, but Miz ended up pretty much rolling him up with a pin. But next thing you know, Morrison actually helped with the pin, so they both helped up rolling up Uso in, retain. I can see Rude and Ziggler the last team in there, right? They could have won the titles and everything, because I don't think Miz and Morrison are really moving the needle right now as it is anyways, but they could have won and stuff, you know, because they could, and I'm not seeing this because obviously this is going to lead into Otis and, you know, getting his big moment in WrestleMania and everything, I guess, especially against Ziggler. Now, it could have been a thing where, you know, Ziggler's got the gold, he's got the girl, and Otis has nothing. Because in layman's terms, pretty much is this. Ziggler's got the money, the cars, the hoes. That's basically what he has right now, okay? And Otis has nothing. Now, adding the tag team titles to this story could have been a nice touch, yes. But this is not about the tag team titles. This is about Otis trying to get Mandy. And that Ziggler has Mandy. Otis is still trying to wonder how did this even happen, and we don't even know who put the text out yet, because maybe Tucker turns on them, or we find out it's Sonya Deville. I have no idea where this is going to go. But obviously it's going to lead in some type of tag match, or maybe it's a one-on-one between Ziggler and Otis. But did the tag team titles need to be involved? In a way it could have been, but I don't know what Miz and Morrison go on from this with the tag belts. Most likely it could be against the Usos again, or against the New Day, but where the Otis and Ziggler thing goes on, I don't know. Otis is over with the crowd, and there's a lot of sympathy for him, but couldn't have been a bigger Mania moment if him and Tucker win the titles and Otis gets the belt and the girl. I don't know, but right now, he's just fighting for the girl right now, so it's not like he really cared about the titles to begin with, but it could have been a nice touch in a way, but obviously, that's not happening. But it was a good Elimination Chamber match, though. It was a really good match. I liked it, though. It was actually a really good match. But next thing we got is AJ Styles versus Aleister Black in a no disqualification match then. Of course, Gallows and Anderson are at ringside. Some people wonder why they didn't just jump in early in this match because of how long it went. But this is one of these situations where you got to try to win the crowd back because, like I said before, the crowd has been dead throughout a majority of the night. And this is kind of what we got right here, especially with Kendall Sticks being involved. Styles trying to focus on Black's bad leg and everything, hitting him with the kendo stick. Pretty much even hitting a dive on Black to the outside. Black getting a table in for AJ Styles, sending up to the outside of the ring. Black tried to grab AJ, but AJ ended up taking a steel chair and hitting Black with it several times, throwing him back in the ring, focusing on his leg, pretty much with an enziguri, kicking him in the knee and the leg until he put him into the calf killer then, wrenching his leg several times until Black had a kendo stick in the ring and started shoving it into AJ's throat and face, putting him down. get out of the calf killer then right after, hitting him with kendo sticks, but AJ ended up dodging it, taking him out with a Pele kick then. Was going to powerbomb him outside, but Black got out of it. AJ hit a big phenomenal forearm and a brain buster, but still connect and get rid of Aleister Black that easily, pinning him. He put a chair in between the ropes, leaving it there. We'll get back to that soon because that's going to play into a factor. But Black pretty much taking Styles out with several kicks then. And trying to with a Lion Salt then, but still for a 2 count. He went for another one after AJ tried to get a Styles Clash on him, but AJ caught him in midair, pretty much about going for a tombstone, pretty much doing the throat thing like this right after, but Black got out of it, pretty much hitting some more punch and kicks on him, kicking him into that steel chair, into the to the corner. He pretty much hit AJ with a big German suplex stand for the pinfall, but did that. But AJ pretty much knocked him into the announce table. They both were on the announce table then, but Black knocked AJ off. Pretty much hit him with a big double knee off the announce table into that regular table through it. Throwing AJ back in. It was going to go for a Black Mass, but of course Gallows and Anderson gets in. Black ends up taking both of those guys out with some kicks, and he tells AJ and everybody just bring them on, tell them all 3 to come. They end up starting jumping Aleister Black then, and they hit the magic killer on him. AJ's gonna go for the phenomenal forearm, but next, the person that we all wanted to see throughout this match that everybody was waiting for because they chanted his name throughout most of this match was the Undertaker. Undertaker gong hits. Undertaker comes in the ring, pretty much got Gallows and Anderson by their throats. AJ tries to go phenomenal forearm. Undertaker catches him in midair, choke slams him. Gong happens again. Undertaker does his disappearing act. Black pretty much looks at AJ. Black masks him right after. So Aleister Black finally gets a win over AJ Styles right there. Okay, so we all were waiting for... honestly, Undertaker got the biggest pop throughout this match because a lot of people did not care about a lot of this match during it in general. So, of course, they chant Undertaker throughout the match. But Undertaker obviously got the biggest pop, maybe, of the entire night. But just this match in general, just for his quick appearance, obviously this mostly is either going to set up Undertaker versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I know there's been rumors about Undertaker and Aleister Black versus the entire... the entire OC, but I don't know what's going to happen, okay? But Undertaker once again gets the best of AJ Styles. First Saudi Arabia, now tonight. Does he get him on Raw the next night? I don't know. Does he get him again? I don't know. But basically, this is setting up Undertaker versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania, or whatever the plan is at WrestleMania. But after nearly, 20-minute match, like I said, the biggest pop goes to the Undertaker, okay? They were all waiting for him to show up. Some people think he could have showed up earlier, but this match was not bad. Well, once again, it takes time because the crowd did not care. It took time for them to actually get into this match, but the big spots, like I said, they reacted for the big spots, but they were all waiting for the dead man, okay? And what they got was the dead man. So, yes, Undertaker you got, Undertaker you shall receive, okay? But, after that match then, what else we got on this show? Honestly, I'm trying to remember myself. What else did we get on? No, it wasn't Elimination Chamber. That was the main event. But, was the Intercontinental title match, I think we got next, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we did get the Intercontinental. No. A match, another rematch from Monday, which I feel like we've seen too many times. Street Profits versus Jesus himself, Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Of course, he's got AOP with him. Throughout this match, listen, this was not a bad match or anything, other than maybe Montez slipping on that back body drop from Buddy Murphy. But, listen, why the title's on the line again, I don't know. It's like they have to be on this card, okay? Listen, this crowd was very quiet, and I mean quiet throughout this match, okay? Like silence out there. I know they tried, Street Profits were at least over. They chanted, we want the smoke. Of course, they got the red cups and everything. You knew AOP was going to be out there, but the Viking Raiders came up, ended up brawling all the way to the back with them. Montez is great in the ring, of course, as usual. Don't get me wrong on that. Even putting his headband on, doing a dive to the outside of the ring. Murphy asking Seth what does he do next. I know they hit the Tower of Doom spot and everything. Kevin Owens then came from the crowd with pretty much a box of popcorn, just chilling and maxing out on the popcorn stuff. Seth says, "Why are you here?" Arguing him at ringside. Dawkins pretty much comes in with the big pounce, knocking down Seth then right after as Kevin Owens eats his popcorn. Murphy hits a dive to the outside of the ring, but the Street Profits catch him, throwing him into the barricade, gets him back in the ring, hits the cash out on him, skydiving, a frog splash. Street Profits retain the titles. Pretty much Seth Rollins got up looking at Murphy. "What are you doing? What did you do?" Kevin Owens, of course, hits the big stunner from behind, taking out Seth Rollins right after that. Okay. Now, of course, we're going to see a couple more stunners in a few weeks. I'm not going to get into Austin 316 or just 316 day himself, but we'll get into that when it gets to that day. Okay. 316 day. But yes, of course, this is most likely going to set up Owens and Rollins for WrestleMania and everything. I don't know where Street Profits go on from this, but maybe you could have done a title change tonight. I don't know. This crowd was very silent. And I don't know. It's like you had the match in Saudi Arabia. You changed the titles on Monday. Why did Seth and them even get a rematch anyway? I thought we stopped doing rematches. I don't even know at this point, okay? So I don't know what this coming. There are rematches. There aren't rematches. But now it's a rematch this time. But listen, the crowd, obviously, once again, a lot of crickets. It wasn't bad at anything, but we already saw it on Monday. They already got the better reaction on Monday than they did tonight, and I was in Brooklyn last Monday. Next, though, was a match I got wrong about. Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro for the Intercontinental title. 3-on-1. Of course, they interviewed Sami and crew before this, talking about it going to take out Braun Strowman tonight. For some reason, as a lot of people say, Sami Zayn looks like he's dressed as Fidel Castro coming out there. Pretty much as they have a plan that Strowman has never got him throughout this match. Strowman is mostly trying to catch Sami Zayn as he fights off both Cesaro, and Nakamura throughout this entire match, taking them down. Sami going under the ring, getting away from Strowman. Strowman trying to go under, but they pull him out from there and everything. But pretty much as they got him off of there, once again, he's chasing after him. Strowman's trying to do his whole runaround thing with his hands, doing this and stuff. But when he got back in the ring, Nakamura ended up in a Kinshasa 2. Strowman into the ring post then right after. He tagged Sami in. Cesaro and Nakamura ended up pretty much picking up Strowman for a suplex. Sami hits a haluva kick, so it's a big combo move, pinning Braun Strowman. And now we have a new Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn, which that's something I did not really expect, and for some reason I don't even have a problem with this. So this is Sami Zayn's finally his first ever singles title on the main roster. Finally, I should say. Something I didn't even expect, because obviously this guy has not even won a title ever since they put this dude on the main roster, to be honest. Now this is something I got wrong. You know what I said? And I said this on SmackDown on Friday. I said Sami Zayn, Nakamura, Cesaro, they were all going to get buried by Braun Strowman. I said that. But this is something that actually shocked me. This is something I didn't see coming. That actually surprised me throughout the night. I did not see this outcome coming. Okay? So, Sami Zayn wins the Intercontinental title. I didn't think it was going to happen, and the crowd started singing his theme song, so maybe it'll become over again. I don't know, but this is something I really did not expect. That one actually, I didn't see that one coming. So, Sami Zayn is now the new Intercontinental Champion, because I honestly thought they were all going to get buried by Strowman right there tonight. But, hey, different outcome plan, I guess. What happens after this, I don't know, but something I didn't expect. But now we get to the main event. Possibly the most predictable Elimination Chamber match in a long time, unless you can count me another one. I don't know. Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan. Okay. First two in this match, Natalya, which I'm sure a lot of people said they either went to the bathroom or got something to eat during this match, with Ruby Riott. not bad at first, but then when the fans start chanting CM Punk, that tells you something. Sarah Logan gets in, and I gotta say one thing about Natalya throughout this match. Natalya took a beating throughout this match. Natalya gets dropped, kicked into the pod, looks deadly. Sarah Logan does a crossbody on to both Ruby and Natalya, which Logan's feet hit Natalya's head so hard, knocking it into the ground. You can hear the ref kept asking Natalya, is she okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Hopefully she doesn't have a concussion or anything throughout this. But go back and look at I know they already showed the replay, but go look. Natalya's head hit the ground hard on the outside of the Elimination Chamber when Logan did that crossbody. That looked deadly. I know they showed Becky looking from the back, but throughout this match, next thing you know, Shayna Baszler gets in, kills Sarah Logan in like under a minute, which I don't know if that was a Stormbreaker or not, or whatever that move Shayna Baszler does. Careful to clutch, gone, out of here. Ruby Riott, done. Careful to clutch, chokes her out, gone, out of here. Beats up Natalya, throwing her into the pod, throwing her through it, steps on her a few times, chokes her out, gone. Then we have to stall because of the time thing for, Baszler. Basically, Baszler is a killer in this match. Baszler smells blood in the water. She's going for it. Cage fighter, UFC. Wow, hell of a UFC fight last night, too, with the women. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I recommend you all go watch that UFC from last night. But she just waits on them, and mostly throughout the waiting time for Baszler, you mostly hear Asuka yelling at Baszler in Japanese throughout most of this match and stuff. Liv Morgan is next. Liv Morgan tries to go for Baszler, but gets slammed into the cage, even powerbombed into it, even knocking her through the pod thing and using her head like a wrecking ball, knocking it back and forth into the pod of the Elimination Chamber, pretty much taking Liv Morgan, putting her face into the pod where Asuka is at, saying this is going to be you, choking her out. Looked like Liv Morgan, I don't think she was not going to give up anyways, but choking her out as Asuka yelled, Liv Morgan, gone. Asuka's the only thing left in this match, which at least she had something. It's the only thing people were waiting for anyways, because they did chant, let's go Asuka. Asuka went in, pretty much going at Baszler, even trying to hit the Asuka lock several times, but could not get it. She tried to get the Asuka lock after dodging the careful clutch, even got the Asuka lock a second time, still did not work. Baszler, of course, joint manipulation, focusing on Asuka's wrist, going into the outside of the chamber and in to the floor, even using joint manipulation again, pretty much twisting it around, going back for the careful clutch. Asuka tried to get out, but she got choked out, and Asuka got choked out, and Baszler is now going to WrestleMania to face Becky Lynch for the women's title. Whoever did not see that coming is an idiot. We knew she was going to win. Obviously, this was a showcase for Baszler to prove that Baszler is just an unstoppable killer in this match. We almost 9 times to 100 times know that she will beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Why was this even a match? Because we need to stretch time, okay? Like I said before, possibly one of the most predictable Elimination Chamber matches in history. Unless you can name some other one, please bring it to my attention. But if not, then this is just the most predictable one, okay? Like I said before, none of these women really had no business being in this damn Elimination Chamber in general, because I don't know what any of them have done to get a title shot. Asuka, she's already had several title shots. She's the only other person who cared throughout this match. And her yelling in Japanese is more entertaining throughout this match than, Baszler just murdering everybody. Did this match get boosted to get heat on Baszler? Yes, in some ways it did. But, like I said, they show Becky in the back and everything watching this, so that's how this went. Now, I'm sure a lot of people, why they main evented this show? Hey, what's today? International Women's Day. That's why this match main evented the show, okay? You don't think it did? Come up with a better answer, okay? Or because this was a number 1 contender shot, because we didn't have any other Elimination Chamber matches, and this was the next important one. But I can't see why people on the internet or anyone would say because of International Women's Day, okay? But like I said, predictable. Everyone gets murdered. Riot Squad, I don't even know why they're in this. KFC Logan, whatever you want to call her. Who else? Natalya. No one really cares about Natalya. So yeah, Baszler wins. She got made to look like a killer in this match. That's the point of all of this, okay? Her versus Becky at Mania, it's coming. As for the rest of this show, yeah, this was pretty bad, okay? In a way, the most, just really no bill. You just had a show to have a show, okay? Philly was dead. The only good things I could say from this is A, Bryan and Gulak put on a very good match on this show. B, Undertaker shows up as usual. C, actually a surprising Intercontinental title change. D, the tag team Elimination Chamber was better than the main event Elimination Chamber. The tag team one was actually good. Now, I know, like I said, people question the whole Otis thing and, Root and Ziggler thinking they should have won the titles. But that was actually a really good match, though. That was actually pretty enjoyable. What else? Humberto, Albers, I don't care. I've seen it a million times. Who cares? Street Profits versus Jesus, Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy. How many times? What was the point? No one cared. Crowd was mostly dead. We already know they won the titles Monday. Why are we doing a rematch? But this mostly sets up Owens for Seth Rollins. Okay? That's what I can take from this. But other than this Elimination Chamber show, yeah, this match literally had no build. Okay? Not really any build to this show. What else can you want me to say from this? I don't know. Okay? But this whole show didn't really have a lot of build coming into this. So hopefully they have something better for the next, 3, 4, 5 weeks now before WrestleMania. Hope we got something better card for this show, because we only know 4 or 5 matches, I believe. That's all we got, okay? But other than that, I am done with this review for the Elimination Chamber. If you have anything to say about this, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this show. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Tell me anything, any thoughts. What do you have to say about the Elimination Chamber show tonight? Did you like it, or did this feel like a big waste of time and you were doing something else during this match, or just this show in general, okay? I don't know. But other than that, I don't even know how I'm going to review WrestleMania, but obviously I have a lot of planning to do to whatever I review. Maybe it's going to be a big podcast where I get a lot of other people and we all sit around and talk about it. I'm trying to do that next. Maybe I will be able to do it. I don't know, but I got some time to think about that. But other than that, I am done with this review. I need to go watch The Walking Dead since I recorded it, and I need to go check that show out. And I'm going to go watch some Bar Rescue. So I got some other shows to watch. And you know what? I may even check out that SCW documentary I heard that happened at the Elimination Chamber tonight. But other than that, though, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.